Hi, this is Margo. This is Sunday evening, July 9th, 2023. I hope everyone is safe and doing as well as possible. Another week has passed and it's been hot, as y'all know, and it's getting hotter. And I'd like to welcome everyone to the show tonight. This will be my weekly update that I'll be putting on YouTube, and we're going to go over climate related items and methane and sea ice and some earthquakes. And so we're going to start with Climate Reanalyzer here today. And if y'all have been watching the weather and watching the news, we had, what was it? The Earth had a cumulative highest temperature this week. I don't know if, anyway, that's what they said. Greenland has been off the charts with the melting, and we're going to go over all of that too. So here we're looking at 2-meter maximum temperatures for today, and we can see Iceland. See, that's heating up. That's into the yellow, moving almost into the orange there at 20 degrees Celsius. Also, this west coast of Greenland is in the yellow. We've got greens mainly over the Antarctic, and that's above freezing. The dark green is about 5 degrees C. And as it moves to the yellow, it's getting warmer. We have dark green here over the Beaufort Sea. The sea ice is in a state of collapse right now, and we're going to go over all of that too. And here in the U.S. we have whites over Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California, Mexico down into Belize. Here's the flat view, and northern Africa. See, it's moving into the gray. That's past the white, and the kind of the solid gray is 50 degrees C. So this is what we're seeing here in Saudi Arabia. See, that's getting there, 45 to 50 degrees C. So very hot. And see, we've got the whites going up into southern Russia and coming down through the Middle East and in India and eastern China there. Here's 2-meter temperature anomaly, and so we've got browns over a lot of Greenland, and now we've got blues in Siberia and Russia, a lot of blues up by the coastline. Here's Canada. We've got dark browns on the west side, and then browns coming down through the US, and then blues on either side, which is colder than normal, and then browns in northeast Canada. Here we're seeing Europe, you're heating up from Spain all the way over Germany, Poland, all these areas, moving into brown and dark brown. We've got dark brown in southern Russia and also part of Kazakhstan, brown over China, brown over northern Africa, Saudi Arabia, all of South America, most of Australia. But check this out. This is going to blow your mind. The Antarctic is really heating up, and it's dark down there. It's in the middle of their winter. We've got a danger zone ozone hole that's rotating over the interior, and look at all of this higher than normal. Look, South Pole is, where's the South Pole? Like right in here, but all the way across, moving into the pinks, reds and pinks, like 24C, higher than normal, also over the Weddell Sea. But it's over this interior from the South Pole all the way east. Then also on the east side, here over the Amory ice sheet. And here's the overview. Worldwide, we're up 0.94C, higher than normal. The northern hemisphere is up 0.88C. The Arctic is up 0.43C. The Antarctic is up 3.8C, higher than normal. It's been going up this week. The southern hemisphere is 1C, higher than normal, and the tropics are up 0.79C. So this is indicative of runaway warming, where you've got, look at the southern hemisphere 1C, and worldwide 0.94C, northern hemisphere. They're all of these are so close to 1C. And then look at that Antarctic. So so that's troublesome. That'll keep you awake at night if you think about it. Here's precipitation and clouds. Now, Greenland had rain and snow this week, mainly on this west side. You're going to be shocked when you see what it did this week. We've got rain and snow over this Arctic Basin region. It's raining over the Beaufort Sea and over Canada, just next to the Beaufort Sea. So, you wonder why the ice is collapsing. There you go. And as things heat up, you'll have more rain in these Arctic regions than snow, and so the rain will melt out the ice. We've also got smoke up here from the wildfires, and that's not helping with the ice situation either. with the soot and the sulfur dioxide coming, if it rains or snows. But the soot too, those particulates fall on either the Arctic sea ice or the Greenland ice sheet, and changes the albedo. It makes it darker, and so the surface is darker, and so it's absorbing more heat than it was before, rather than reflecting it. And so the more it absorbs the heat, the more it'll heat up and melt, and then that creates more of the reinforcing feedback loop. And it's like a perpetual motion machine that once it gets to a certain point, it'll just go. Everything will just go. And see the rain, see how far south the rain is coming here in the Pacific Ocean. This is the Western Peninsula here, and then snow coming in. And then here's the jet pieces, what used to be the jet stream. And we've got double looping going on here. And then big circle there in the North Atlantic low pressure system. Then wavy. Here's the Pacific view. And so these just pick up and go all over the place. Southern Hemisphere doesn't look any better either. And we'll look at sea ice and snow cover in a minute. Here's sea surface temperature anomaly. This is for yesterday, and you can definitely see the change from one week to the next. And we've got reds and pinks coming in here at the Kara Sea, wherever the ice has already melted, or it was open already. It's heating up, and like this 4C is kind of that reddish brown. The bright red is 5C, higher than normal, and the light pink is 6C, higher than normal. Now we do have some colder water around this east side of the ice edge and around Greenland from the melting of the Greenland ice sheet that's flowing. That's cold water flowing into the ocean, so it changes the dynamics of everything. So here's our hot spot off the coast of Newfoundland. This is also the area where we've got methane bubbling up, and Gulf of Mexico is all brown now. And here's our evil eye forming in the North Pacific. Here's the flat view. This is the Pacific view. There's that evil eye. We could possibly be forming another one in the Northwest Pacific. Now here in the Sea of Okhotsk, we've got red on red by this Russia coastline, and we've got red and pink on the east side of Japan. I don't know if they've, well, anyway, they're going to be dumping all this stored up radioactive water from Fukushima into the Pacific Ocean. I don't know if they've already started it. So further contamination. I mean, you just wonder what's going to be the final straw to break everything. We're very close to it being so broken that that life can't be here on the planet. We're very close. And here's this evil eye on the west coast of South America. And here's the Atlantic view. Look at all the browns coming down. And browns in the Indian Ocean. And see, we've got browns all the way up to the sea ice in the Antarctic. And we've got browns through the Mediterranean. Dark brown in the Black Sea. Almost solid dark brown in the Caspian Sea. Those have heated up this week. Brown in the Persian Gulf. We've got browns in the Red Sea as well. Okay. Now we'll go to methane. And we're starting with the, well, let's get ready here. Here's our NOAA methane data for yesterday, the 8th. The Met-Op-B satellite in the morning, 1,000 millibar level. The mean or average was 1,844 parts per billion. And we're still seeing methane on land, over, coming up from the land and the Arctic region. So, far cry from where it was a month ago, where everything was grayed out in the northern hemisphere. In the afternoon, the mean was 1844. On the Met-Op-C in the morning, the mean was 1845. And in the afternoon, the mean was 1844. Now let's go on. Here's the 487 millibar level. Met-Op-B satellite in the morning. The mean was 1921. The high reading was 2385. And so we've got pinks and reds and some orangey here over the Antarctic. In the afternoon, the mean was 1926. The high reading was 2348. On the Met-Op-C in the morning, and this is the one I'm really kind of tracking the most, or presenting the most. And Met-Op-C for 487 in the morning, the mean was 1891. The high reading was 2203. And see, we've got lots of readings over land. So all these pinks over the northern hemisphere. We've got pinks down here, just next to the Brunt ice shelf, and also over the interior of Antarctic. And in the afternoon, the mean was 1890, and high reading was 2208. So, looking at our charts, let's see. We're starting with the 487 millibar mean and the mean, and just the satellite C, Met-Op-C satellite, just that reading. And the 8th averaged out to be 1890.5, giving us an increase this week of 2.5. So we can see that line going up. So it's a steady increase. See, I think this is more accurate and can be more, the trends can compare more to my past tracking than the other ones I'm tracking now. So so from June 3rd, it's progressively been going up. We had 2 weeks of no change, but we're heating up now. So let's see what happened this week. This is where we ended last week. We were 1888.0 with no change for the week. That was on the 1st. The 2nd went up 0.5. 3rd went up 1.0. The 4th went down 2.0. 5th up 1.5. 6th down 1.0. 7th up 1.5. And 8th up 1.0, giving us this overall increase this week of 2.5. Now if we looked at the all 4 readings on 487 millibar, our average for the 8th would be 1907 with an increase of 1.0. And remember where it fell down so hard, that's where we had so much missing data on the Met-Op-B satellite. Same thing here on 1000 millibar. So that's why I'm kind of focusing on Met-Op-C. So for surface level, the 8th averaged out to be 1844.25, showing a slight decrease of 0.25 this week, right here. So there's that. I don't think, hold on, I think I forgot to load this, hold on. Okay, I'm back, and so we've got everything set up now. We're looking at CAMS, or Copernicus Atmosphere Monitoring Service, methane forecasts, and our base time and valid time are both for Saturday, July the 8th, And we're starting on the Arctic area and surface level. So the data is for Saturday, and the forecast period is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Why is it doing that? Well, maybe those blank images will load up. Okay, so CAMS NOAA is billowing also. That's disconcerting. Also, the hot spot here in the North Atlantic. See that? This Scandinavian area is filled up or filling up. And we've got this hot spot. Here's our hot spot off the coast of Newfoundland, where we saw the sea surface temperature up too as well. See, that's bubbling. Well, this is disconcerting. Okay, look at the heavy streaming up from the UK and the North Sea. Okay, I'm just gonna go back. And so we've got Western Russia filling up. We're seeing high methane in the interior of Russia here. Also on this east side of Siberia, there are wildfires burning. You'll see on CAMS. We'll look at that too. Here in North America, see the tar sands, that's coming back to life. Here is the billowing at North Dakota, and here it is high still around the Hudson Bay, and the U.S. Is filling up from the middle of the country east. And I mean, just wait until it gets really hot. I mean, you talk about blobby. You'll see. You're gonna. It's gonna be a bad summer. We got a late start because it was cool for a long time this winter. I mean, this spring it was like a prolonged winter. But we're making up for it now. Last Sunday, we hit 101 in Reno. Okay, now we'll load up the North Pole view. And let's see, we had some pretty hot days this week, upper 90s. Then the last 2-3 days it's been in the low 90s for highs, and that's okay with me. I can handle 93. That's not a problem. But next weekend they're forecasting 105 here in Reno, Saturday and Sunday both. So that's getting up there. So here's the North Pole view. We can see it's starting to fill up here in the UK, North Sea, Germany, over to Poland, part of France. This Persian Gulf, see, it's filled up and spilling over. India is filling up on the interior a little more, and China. Same thing. Okay, there's that. Now we'll go to the global view. And we're seeing this next highest color or reading. It's the 1860 parts per billion. It's really starting to kind of take over the Pacific Ocean, and also higher. Look here around the Brunt Ice Shelf, the Western Peninsula on the Larsen Ice Shelves, also over the interior here on the west. New Zealand, you're filling up. You've come back to life. The east coast of Australia is popping up. Okay, so there's that. And then 500 HPA. So remember, it went up 2.5 this week, according to the Met-Op-C satellite. 487, yeah. And these darker regions, see, they're kind of breaking up, but they're moving around, dispersing more, spreading out. And higher readings further south as well. And we've got yellows coming in here over the Weddell Sea and next to the coastline and over the interior. Oops, didn't mean to do that. And then total column. And see, Persian Gulf is filled up and spilling over. And then northern India and Pakistan, Asia, southern Asia, all the way across China here. Big wide band. So there's that. And just a couple more things here from CAMS. This is sulfur dioxide today. Look, we've got a high reading over southeast Australia. That's new. Now this can be, that's pretty well defined. I don't know, it can be from plate movement. The Antarctic plate is just south of here. And still high over Mexico with the volcanoes there. See, and look at the ripples coming out. That's showing the force of the blast, and that's what shot it up to where you can see it at 500 HPA. Just shot right up, and then the circles. That's the shock wave going out. Here's ozone over the Antarctic today. Here's our danger zone hole, and it's over the Weddell Sea and this west side down just right next to the South Pole. And this is in the danger zone between 200 and 220 Dobson units. Then the next one up is the aqua, and then we've got greens, and then we've got a big break here in going up into the Pacific. Here's the Arctic ozone, and any shade of green, even this green yellow, that's below average. The solid yellow is about 300 Dobson units, and that's considered a healthy or average number. And so we've got a hole here over the Beaufort Sea. This is where it's raining, and over Canada. Also, this greenish yellow over Greenland, I'm thinking that's from the smoke, wildfire smoke. Also north of Greenland, and here north of Novaya Zemlya, and here in Russia. Here's the flat view. Here's the big break coming up through the Pacific. And, okay, so here's the smoke from the burning today. And, let's zoom in. This is smoke from Canada that is right on over the southern tip of Greenland, so that's very bad. And here it's pretty heavy with the red, and that smoke is on its way across the Atlantic. And we've still got heavy smoke up here in northern Canada and on this whole west side of Canada up to Alaska. And we've still got some lighter smoke drifting down into the upper Midwest of the U.S. And so let's keep flipping. One more. Uh-oh. I didn't mean to do that. Here we go. Let's go this way. Okay, here's what we want. And so here it's heaviest in eastern Siberia. And see, it's floating out over the ocean. And also, this little finger coming down is also Russia. Here's China. Here's more. And see the grays popping up. That's all from fires on land. And okay, I just took a couple of earthquake pictures tonight. There were 261 worldwide, and of interest is this one at Iceland, and they've been swarming this week. And this was a 5.1 near Oftanes, Iceland. And this came in today at 3:22 p.m. Pacific time. And we saw that. Okay, we saw all those. Okay, now I'm going to take a short break, and I'll come back and we'll look at sea ice. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and now we'll move into the sea ice portion of our show. And we're going to start with a slideshow from Climate Reanalyzer, images I've saved this week. This is sea ice concentration and snow cover for today, and we can zoom in. And you can see the Hudson Bay is pretty much clear, just a few wisps of ice there. The Baffin Bay is melting out. This area in the North Baffin Bay is getting bigger. These tributaries, which are it's all part of the Northwest Passage, we can see more open water here. And on this east side of Greenland, there's a big hole that's opened up right up at the top. Well, and you'll see on NASA Worldview, this ice is just coming apart north of Greenland, and where you see the darker, that means it's already broken up pretty much. It's coming apart. See, the Kara has cleared out. We've still got some ice in the North Kara Sea. The Laptev Sea has opened up quite a bit, and this East Siberian Sea, we've got a big hole right here next to the New Siberian Islands, and then it's collapsing all along the Russia coastline, and then that dark area, there's a hole there. This Chukchi Sea is melting in, and this Beaufort Sea, see the dark here, that's where it's raining today. And more open water around Alaska and Canada coastlines. So that's where we are today. So let's see what's happened this week. Here we were last Sunday. Now, remember it had been raining here over the Beaufort Sea, and there was a hole that had opened up. And like I said, sometimes we'll see holes open up, and then they'll close back up as fast as they open, depending on the ice drift and what kind of ice and everything. So here's last Sunday. Here's Monday. See, it's closing up there. Here's Tuesday, Wednesday. See, opening up here. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then today. So it's in high melt. I'll just put it like that. And then the U.S. Navy did some updating here and there. Not everything is as of today, but this is the latest off their website. So this is from July the 5th, which was Wednesday. So, that's 4 days ago. Arctic sea ice thickness. And you can see, we saw on Climate Reanalyzer that there's definitely less ice now than what was here on Wednesday. A lot less, and it's thinner, and we've got a hole opening up here in quadrant 4, and the bright aqua, it's thinning so much and melting so much that the bright aqua is mainly just above Greenland and Canada and some in the Beaufort Sea, and that's the 2 to 2.5 meters thick. The green is 3 meters thick. We can see that that's diminishing, and the dark red, 5 meters thick, we can see that's going away. It's actually exiting in these tributaries. When the sea ice pushes, or the drift pushes the ice into the openings, it just goes right through. And then on this top part, the dark blue, that's about 1.25 meters thick. Dark purple is about 1 meter thick, and then goes lighter from there down to nothing. So remember, this is Wednesday, so a lot can happen in 4 or 5 days. And here's their 30-day animation, and this was updated to the 6th. So the forecast goes out to the 13th, which is, let's see, Wednesday, I think. Let me get my calendar. Yeah, over halfway through the year now. 13th is Thursday. Hang on, I dropped something. Okay. So let's zoom in. So down here in the bottom part, see, this correlates to the high melt that we're seeing in Hudson Bay and Baffin Bay and these tributaries. You can see the ice flowing out. Look, it's going down to almost nothing on this east side of Greenland. Normally, we see some ice here during the summer. I mean, even at the end of the summer, but, you know, this could melt out. And more melting in the Kara Sea, and then this Laptev Sea really opens up. See, especially in the forecast period. Lots of thinning. I mean, it's shocking to see the change in 30 days, isn't it? To go from shades of aqua down to half a meter thick or less in 30 days. I mean, it's really shocking. But this is this is high melt now. So I'm going to stop it. Okay, here we are at the end of the forecast period. So this Beaufort Sea, you can see areas in collapse here. Chukchi Sea as well. And this hole opening up north of Canada. And just thinning down more than anything. So let's move on. Here's the Beaufort Sea sea ice thickness. This is as of today. And here's Canada on the right. And you can see there's less greens and reds as it's melting and also being pushed into the exit points. And this Bering Strait, that's totally open. Here's the Chukchi Sea thinning. And see, this whole area is in like dark blue, which is about 1.25 meters thick. And we've got a collapse going on here, just north of Alaska. And 30-day animation, and this was updated to today. So the data goes back 3 weeks, and the forecast period goes out through next Sunday. So we're seeing a lot of breakdown. A lot of change in this upcoming week. Here, I'll stop it. Here we are at the end. So next Sunday, a lot of breakdown in this Beaufort Sea here. Very little aqua left, and also above Canada, and the leads are opening up too. And here's the Antarctic, and again this is for the 5th, which was Wednesday. I showed last week the ice pulling away from the coastline here in the Ross Sea, and it was from ice drift, and actually a little melting, but that's filled back in. But we stalled out on our refreeze this week. And so here, beside this western peninsula, this is the majority of the thicker ice, aqua. But what's troublesome is you can see the big cracks. It's not solid. I mean, it almost looks like it's coming apart. I mean, it could. I mean, with the warmer temperatures and the ozone hole, I mean, it could come apart. And here's the 30-day animation, and this was updated to Wednesday. So the forecast period goes out to next Wednesday, the 12th. We can see it thickening here in the Ross Sea. See, watch it pull away, and then it goes back. Yeah, it looks like this aqua ice is sliding down and not being replenished as it's sliding down. I don't know. We'll see. And I've got some more things from the Navy that I saved. This is the Ross sea ice thickness, and so for orientation, we're looking, this is south up here, so north is down here. This is the Ross Sea right down here underneath the controls. Here is the Ross Ice Shelf. Right down here is Ross Island. And so you can see the white right along the coastline where it's open and then really thin out for quite a ways until it goes into the darker aqua. But watch this. Here's the 30-day animation. Oh, wait, let me show you. So that's for today, right? Okay, so this was updated to today, and so the forecast goes out to next Sunday. So we can see it thin out and then move back in and starts to thicken up a little. But we definitely had melting here this week, and see how it was pulled apart. That was from the ice drift. Just was very strong pulling it out. And here's the ice drift. And this is as of today. So it slowed down. The direction is moving down and up here now. But watch this. See the heavy in there in the middle. That's what we were seeing earlier. So let's go back. So here we are. Let's see. Here's today. Look at this. See, it's pulling away. Heavy. That's moving fast. That is 30 centimeters per second. The dark red moving away. See, it's heavy moving up or away from the coast there. So a couple of days, you know, it had so for a while it was really a lot of days it was pulling it out. So here was June 30th. Here's July 1st. See, that's what we saw That's what I was showing last week. It correlates to the pulling away. So that was from ice drift. Here's the third. Here's the fourth. Fifth. It's slowing down now. And the sixth. Picking back up again. Seventh. Yeah, heavy again. And then it moves over to the right for the 8th. And then it calms down for the 9th. Still pretty calm. But the direction's changing. Now it's moving towards the coast. See? Now it's moving away, so it's just back and forth, back and forth. Kind of schizophrenic eyes here. So it's fairly calm on the 12th. Here's the 13th, 14th, 15th, all pretty calm for the rest of that. Alright, moving on now. This is National Snow and Ice Data Center, Arctic sea ice concentration. You can see these dark blues. This is the whole on this east side of Greenland. And see the blues all the way across. So it's in high melt. And also considering we're just gonna be getting more rain up here, and that's just something they're gonna have to deal with. We saw that this week at Greenland, and it's catastrophic for the ice, for both the sea ice and the Greenland ice sheet when you have rain up here on it. And here's the extent chart. Still going down, and still just above 2012. Here's the Antarctic, and see the blue line here. I'm thinking that's where some melting was this week. And here's what happened this week. Here's our refreeze chart for the extent. See, last year, here's last year, and here we are this year, and we're deviating, getting lower, and a couple of days ago it flatlined for one day. So, just nothing, no regrowth on one day, and then it's nudging back up, but it's angled down a little further than what it had been. Okay, Greenland. Yeah, we got to talk about Greenland. This is for yesterday, the 8th. And look at this melting all the way across here, and further in on the interior, and the north side was melting all week. This west side was melting all week too. And here are the cumulative melt days. And what we saw was pretty early here in the melt season, and we're already seeing melt way in on the interior and all the way down. And see, the white areas in white are becoming less and less. That's no melt days. But look at the dark blues and on this north side, and this bottom part, that's very, very concerning. Here's the melt extent. So right now, we're right here about 45%. And yeah, I showed last week where it spiked up to just a nudge over 50%. Then it went down to about 30%, and then it went down to about 25%, and then it spiked back up to just under 50% again, and that was day before yesterday. And then here it's gone down just a little bit, but the showing that the melt is on. So this is very bad. Very, very bad. This is catastrophic, really. Now, I wanted to compare or show you. So here was our highest melt day this week. This was the 7th. It was Friday. And here, see, it's just solid melt all the way across. And look how far in it's melting on the north and the west. And there's cumulative melt days on the 7th. Here's the chart for the 7th. See, it had gone up to like 49% the day before, and then it nudged up, I mean just a hair below 50% on the 7th. And here's the median way down here at about 15 to 18%, with the peak happening around mid-July and then starting to go down then. And just for comparison, I pulled up last year. This was at the end of the melt season and what happened last year. And see, here was June, July. The most melt we had was early July was about 28% one day, and then around mid-July, let's see, we got a spike up to 42%. Then it went down, and then at the end of the season we had another huge spike up to about 46%. I mean 36%. So for comparison, I mean, that's last year for the whole year, and here's where we are right now. So that's pretty sobering if you look at that. So we've already had a few days higher than the highest in last year. So okay, now we'll move on to NASA Worldview. Now we're not going to look at the Antarctic because the nighttime layer is not working. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Some days are better than others. Last Sunday it was just a rare treat to have it as clear as it was. You just never know how the model's going to be. So here we are on the Arctic for today. You can see this ice is looking a lot darker as it's melting and losing the albedo. Here's smoke in Canada from the fires, and also if we zoom in, like this is smoke, you can see the gray where it's gray instead of white. That's from smoke. And here, this is smoke coming up from Canada. And that sure looks smoky to me here in the North Atlantic and Barents Sea. It's just hard to tell. And then this looks pretty smoky over the Kara Sea. Could it be smoke? I mean, it could, but we're not seeing the fires in Russia up close to the coastline. So I'm not sure if it's... I don't know why it's looking so dark on the cloud, unless it is smoke. So anyway, now here's sea ice concentration. You can see all these areas that are yellows and greens that show that there's holes already forming in the ice. And then the reds, that's anywhere that's not white. It means it's in some stage of melt. So we don't have much of the white area or full concentration left. Hardly any. And here's this collapse on this east side of Greenland, right there. And here's the melting in the Baffin Bay. Hudson Bay is open. And Beaufort Sea, that's in high melt. And then here's the Russia coastline too. Okay, so turn that off. And now we'll go to the satellite view, and we'll start down here just above Greenland. Oh, I want to start actually on Greenland and show you all the melting. See, it's the blue, that's the melt, and here are melt ponds where there's standing water on top of the ice where it's melted on top, but there's ice beneath. all this. See it's even turning gray too. The ice turns, it doesn't stay white. Once it starts melting, it starts changing colors. And look at this. See, we've got getting some large melt ponds going on here, like lakes. You need jet skis to get across. Oh, and then down here too. See the melting? See, look at all these. Those are melt ponds. Here's the east side. See, this is just totally collapsing. And now back up. So here's this big hole next to Greenland. And look at this coastline breaking up. Okay, now here's the Lincoln Sea where we'll start, and see a lot of open water. That thin ice between the big pieces, a lot of it's all melted already. Look at this. And the ice is exiting through the nearest strait here. You can see it. Look at this. And we got a little bottleneck down here at the bottom. But you can see it's moving out. Just moving through. And here's the North Baffin Bay. This is open. I mean, that sure looks like smoke to me. And then, see, in these tributaries way in. Look, I mean, that's open. That's open there. Oh, I wanted to show this coast of Ellesmere Island. Look at this. Normally, we don't get to see the coast like this. Normally there's some clouds. But this is definitely breaking up. And this is where the thickest ice is along this coastline. But a little bit further out, this is where the bright aqua is. So that's starting to break up. You can see the open water in those leads. And coming around. See the greens as it thins out. It goes into greens, blues and greens. And here's the Beaufort Sea. Here's the ice. So this is the rainstorm here. So expect holes to show up by tomorrow if we're able to see through it. But here's the ice edge from the 7th. Let's look over here. Here's 80° north latitude. Okay, let's come back over here. And there's the Bering Strait. And here's the Chukchi Sea. Man, I'm getting tired. Trying not to fall asleep. Here's a little bit of ice left here by Siberia. This is opening up. You can see this collapse going on. Coming around, here's this hole that comes up to New Siberian Islands, and see, there's the state of the sea ice. It's going down now. Here's the Laptev Sea. This is open for the most part. There's still some fringe ice left. But see here in the Laptev Sea, can't see much. Then coming down, oh, okay, here's the Russia coastline. Here's the Laptev Sea. See the pieces coming apart there. Here's Severnaya Zemlya. Right down here is the Vovolov ice cap, and it's still racing into the ocean, and this ice is melting, but this is, I'm thinking this is what's, this flow of ice is causing this area to still have ice. Look at these colors. Here's comes some mollets, and this ice is breaking up right around this edge. This whole edge is where we see methane bubbling up. Alright, and here's the kind of the north side. Open water there. More up here. Here's the ice edge. And look at all of this. That's not good. And further south, see, it's all opening up. And see, opened up, opening pretty good. Here's the North Pole, and I don't know if those are clouds or what. Okay, that's an opening in the sea ice there. Okay. I think that's about all we can see. Look, this is really coming apart. up towards Russia. Look at this. So there's that. We're not even going to bother with the Antarctic. Now, we did see a little bit of melting, but it came back. And so now we'll move on to earthquakes. We've got 249 worldwide today. Of interest for me is right here on Iceland, near Reykjavik, a 5.1. Now this is the largest they've had in the last few days. It's been swarming here. And that would... So we've got some 5s, 4s. I'm not seeing any 6s. Let's turn on 7 days, all magnitudes. Okay, let's look at these Arctic earthquakes. We had one right here, 4.5 in the Greenland Sea on the 7th. And then Iceland at Reykjavik. See, they're stacked up. We've got 10 here for the whole week. 4s. Then jump up to 5.1 today. Okay, we've got movement all around. Here's Alaska, here's the US, South America, and so on. Let's zoom in here. Okay, here's one at the base of the Juan de Fuca plate, a 4.0. And then quite a bit of movement here on the fulcrum point. And that's about it. Nothing super major here. So that's my report for tonight. And now we'll continue reading out of the book of Job. And God is still talking to Job. Job chapter 39. Knowest thou the time when the wild goats of the rock bring forth? Or canst thou mark when the hinds do calve? Canst thou number the months that they fulfill? Or knowest thou the time when they bring forth? They bow themselves, they bring forth their young ones. They cast out their sorrows. Their young ones are in good liking. They grow up with corn. They go forth and return not unto them. Who hath sent out the wild ass free? Or who hath loosed the bands of the wild ass? Whose house I have made the wilderness and the barren land, and his dwellings. He scorneth the multitude of the city, neither regardeth he the crying of the driver. The range of the mountains is his pasture, and he searcheth after every green thing. Will the unicorn be willing to serve thee, or abide by thy crib? Canst thou bind the unicorn with his band in the furrow? Or will he harrow the valleys after thee? Wilt thou trust him, because his strength is great? Or wilt thou leave thy labor to him? Wilt thou believe him, that he will bring home thy seed, and gather it unto thy barn? Gavest thou the goodly ways unto the peacocks, or wings and feathers unto the ostrich, which leaveth her eggs in the earth, and warmeth them in dust, and forgetteth that the foot may crush them, or that the wild beast may break them? She is hardened against her young ones, as though they were not hers. Her labor is in vain without fear, because God hath deprived her of wisdom, neither hath been imparted to her understanding. What time she lifted up herself on high, the scorneth the horse and his rider. Hast thou given the horse strength? Hast thou clothed his neck with thunder? Canst thou make him afraid as a grasshopper? The glory of his nostrils is terrible. He paweth in the valley, and rejoiceth in his own strength. He goeth on to meet the armed men. He mocketh at fear, and is not affrighted, neither turneth he back from the sword. The quiver rattleth against him, the glittering spear and the shield. He swalloweth the ground with fierceness and rage. Neither believeth he that is the sound of the trumpet. He saith among the trumpets, Ha, ha! And he smelleth the battle afar off, the thunder of the captains and the shouting. Doth the hawk fly by thy wisdom, and stretch her wings toward the earth? Doth the eagle mount up at thy command, and make her nest on high? She dwelleth and abideth on the rock, upon the crag of the rock, and the strong place. From thence she seeketh the prey, and her eyes behold afar off. Her young ones also suck up blood, and where the slain are, there is she. Job chapter 39. So I hope everyone has as good a week as possible, and just hunker down. So I love you all, and I'm praying for you. And until next time, God bless you. Go in peace, and I will talk to you soon. Good night.